course you're good,
Oh,
Dax.
I just usually do my testing.
I had to wait for you, but I got to pull out the Countywide News and Sun,
okay.
man.
All right.
Do you ever read the Countywide News and Sun?
I don't, but I guess I need to.
You do. They are so hyper local. I mean, they're probably talking about Hardesties. I'll get back to that.
Okay.
In a minute, because we have some of the coolest news happening. I mean, one of Shawnee's own, Dax Leone, has now pulled off. I mean, a great hire, Dax. You have pulled off a great hire, but in just a moment, we're going to talk about that hire. But first of all, we're going to talk about significance.
Okay.
Because we just had a big loss in Kevin Paxson, and he goes on, moves to the college ranks from high school, which is a great move for anyone. And this guy, who you're pulling in, had a great deal to do with Pax's success from early on. Talk a little bit about Pax and the success of Pax and what Pax gleaned from your new hire.
Well, I'll tell you, and before I start with Pax, the search was more than just me. There was a lot of people involved, so I know sometimes I get probably more credit than I deserve. But Paxson, you know, obviously his baseball journey began here at Shawnee High School, and what he learned here at the high school and who he played for and all the life lessons too. You know, he basically, you know, bred his water here in Shawnee, and under this program, there's a lot of staples that he does today that we did when we were in high school. And I bet if you ask Pax, he would say his biggest influence was probably his high school baseball coach.
I believe that, and not only that, but you, Dax, have had hugely been influenced by this man. But I'm going to back up just a little bit slower before that, because we had great baseball success for a number of years under Coach Todd Boyer. And Todd actually cut his teeth with this new hire as well. Talk a little bit about that influence, because now, Dax, you were in the room with both of those guys. Our new hire and with the three-time state champion coach, Todd Boyer.
You know, when I first got to Shawnee High School as a freshman, Coach Boyer, I think it was his second year here, and I can't remember his age, but he was young, and but obviously was the player's guy, and always, like, you know, still young enough to rough us up a little bit and tough, but also a guy we really respected. And what he learned under that guy was discipline, work ethic, toughness, determination, all those things that have built Shawnee baseball over the last 30 years. And, you know, the pipeline of Shawnee baseball, you know, we've had over 100 guys play college baseball in the last 30 years, which is just, if you really think about it, it's probably as most anywhere in the state. So, you know, Boyer was a young guy when I was here. I remember Jamie and all the kids, Jessica and Sydney. I think Sydney was like 2 years old when I was here. You know, and then what he took and learned from him, and then kind of took it with his touch on it. Did a great job, obviously, back-to-back state championships and a national championship in 2017. And then to bring one of our own back with Kevin Paxson in the last 5 years, just had a great run. the COVID year, I'll go ahead and say it, in 2020, we would have probably won it. We had 8 guys on that team play college baseball with Jabril Easley, Bauer Britton, who's was signed at OU. And so Paxson had a little bit of a tough stick with COVID. And then, you know, last year, 2 years ago, Bauer gets hurt. Doesn't get a chance to pitch, and Collinville beats us on a walk-off home run to go to the state tournament. So Paxson, honestly, was probably, out of his 5 years, was a pitch or two away from being, you know, back there at least 2 times, maybe 3. So the blood of Shawnee baseball has always been this guy. We've all learned under him. We've all taken a little bit from everywhere we've been, but the core values of Shawnee baseball were instilled with this guy starting in 1991.
Okay, so let's talk to the 7th, 8th grade players out there and their parents. You were a 7th and 8th grader. You were coming through. You were a university, you were a D1 pitcher coming through our program. What does this mean for the future generations coming through Shawnee? Because I know, Dax, your heart is exploding in excitement because of what this young man, I call, has done for you personally.
I've said this for probably the last 10 years, maybe longer. I was fortunate enough to play for my high school baseball coach. And then I was fortunate enough to play for Lloyd Simmons, who was the winningest junior college coach of all time. And I was fortunate enough to play for Augie Garrido, who's the winningest Division I coach of all time till recently. And out of those 3 guys, while they were all great, and I learned from each one of them, I learned more baseball from my high school coach than I did those other 2 guys. And for me to say that, I kind of makes me kind of sit back and go, that's a pretty strong statement. And not just so much on the baseball side, but what I learned is, developing in from a young, immature 14-year-old that showed up to, where I am today. And if you look at this guy's track record, all these guys that played for him over these years are just very successful. They're fathers, they're men, they're leaders in the community. I mean, just the kind of person you're going to get from this guy. I got my own son coming up that's going to get a chance to play for the same guy that I played for. So I think Shawnee baseball has always been in great hands. But I think with this move, we're extremely lucky, and he's a Hall of Fame coach already. He's in Oklahoma, High School Hall of Fame. He's been a college coach, has coached professional baseball. Shawnee baseball and the kids in this community are the luckiest damn kids in the state of Oklahoma, if you want my honest opinion.
And with that, we will be right back, and we will talk all about the new Shawnee baseball coach announced just minutes ago, right here from Hardesty's, where the food is great and the people
even better.
Are even better. L's Jewelry, according to the experts, has everything that you would find in Oklahoma City. Stay home and shop with Shawnee's friendly jeweler. L's Jewelry on Kickapoo. Sonic Drive-In originated in Shawnee, serving great food fast to your family. Drive up, order, and eat in your car. Now, more than 3,500 stores worldwide, it's Sonic Good at our local Sonics. Hardesty Market in Delhi, a real butcher shop for over 80 years. Daily lunch specials just like Mom used to make. Best cuts of meat and even better people. Your family at Hardesty Market in Delhi. At McElroy and Owens Funeral Group, your loved one never leaves our care. From your first phone call at the time of loss through final resting, we are with you. Stop by McElroy and Owens for a visit today.
We always ask for Action Physical Therapy, and we always recommend it to our friends. When we're in the orthopedic doctor's office, they always give us the option, well, you need physical therapy. Do you have a choice of where you want to go? And we always ask for Action because we know Katie and Andy Landys, and we trust the service and the care that we're going to get there.
I asked for Action.
Hey guys, this is Sean with Play It Again Sports, and we have a pretty exciting month coming up. We've been really busy, so we need your help. One of the main items we're looking for is used baseball gloves. For example, this right-handed throw Mizuno first baseman, original retail $149.99, at our store $49.99 used. A little bit older, but also a classic Nakona. Our retail $129.99, original retail $249.99. Play It Again Sports. We buy and sell new and used sports equipment.
Do you want an easy car buying experience? Castor Keys on Harrison. No hidden fees, no price gimmicks. Castor Key Auto Mart for a fair and convenient car buying experience. And the new Shawnee baseball coach is
Head coach Jeff Schaefer.
Jeff Schaefer impacted me in our first years of doing what we were doing 20 years ago. He impacted me by being such a strong presence in standing for everything that I believed was right in Shawnee High School athletics. Today I feel fortunate in a relationship with Jeff Schaefer, and I'm just a nobody from a baseball standpoint of just knowing this guy as a person.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Jeff Schaefer. Talk to us about the journey of bringing us to this point.
Well, obviously first and foremost, Kevin Pax is not only one of the best coaches around, he's one of my closest friends. And so you said his name, Jeff Schaefer. 2 of our last 3 coaches left here to go coach college baseball. I mean, that's a pretty strong statement, and Coach Boyer probably could have done it as well.
Sure.
You got 2 guys, and Coach Schaefer, who left here in 2006 to go back to his alma mater where he played at Seminole Junior College and be the head coach of one of the most prestigious programs in the country, and was there for 5 years, was the last guy to take him to a World Series in 2009. I think it was, I looked at his record, it was 227 and 111 at Seminole State College. That's pretty good. A trip to the College World Series in Grand Junction, Colorado. And, from there, went to Edmond Santa Fe, did a great job with the state tournament, and then he came back home to Pot County, went to Tecumseh as the AD and head baseball coach, and Jaden and Jeffrey, his boys, both got to play for him. And so that was something that was really important to him. We had a pretty good baseball coach at that time in Coach Boyer, so he built Tecumseh baseball up into a place they've never been. And when the boys left, Jaden's actually a senior at OBU right now, starting second baseman. He had the itch to coach again. I had to get it out of him a little bit, and I'll tell you what, our kids and our community are about to see why I'm so excited about this hire, because again, not only what he did for me as a player, but what he's done for me as a man, a father. I mean, all my life lessons were taught right there at Shawnee High School with him. And then his wife, Rayanne, who's just awesome, rock star. Jaden, Jeffrey, Blakely, he's coming home. I said, Coach, here was my sales pitch. Coach, you want to come back and finish what you started? And that was what I told him. And I believe every word of it, because everyone from Coach Boyer to myself to Paxton to Breck Draper, all of us have had success. But he was the pioneer. He was the foundation. He was the guy that he had the vision of what Shawnee baseball had to look at. And I'm tickled to death that my own son gets to play for him, and every kid in this community is going to be a better man when they leave our program.
Well, and I firmly believe he is a leader of leaders, and that's what he developed, as you mentioned, with his baseball players and his coaches. And there's one thing that Jeff Schaefer doesn't have on his resume, and that is a high school state championship team. And that's what's so exciting to me, is because I know him as such the competitor. Rayanne, right there next to her, right there next to him. The family is such a competitive family that one of the reasons they're coming back to Shawnee, and this is just my speculation, is because they know they need to finish what they started.
Yeah.
Because Jeff, in many years had the best, everyone would say the best baseball team in the state. And just something would happen at that state tournament. Some weird something would happen, and he never got that ring.
Well, some of that was we were in 6A then, because I would tell you, Coach Pax and I's 94 team was probably in my opinion, was the best team to ever come to Shawnee High School. That's just my opinion. But we played 6A all the way up until 1999. And then when we got in 5A, Claremore had their run, and there were some other teams that were, maybe had one arm, maybe one more arm than us. It came down to a ball bouncing this way. But, Coach Schaefer used to always tell us, and I never understood it as a young player, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And now that I'm kind of sitting in these shoes, I look back and go, if you asked me, could I win one state championship or one national championship, and that's all I win, or if I went 25 years in a row and never won one, I think I would take the 25 years, because every kid had that experience to go to the state tournament, to go to Grand Junction, Colorado, and he's going to get one. I know he is, and he was a big part of Coach Boyer's. He was a big part of, a lot of that stuff. And so I would venture to say that here in the next 5 years, Shawnee baseball is going to have another ring, and he's going to have everything to do with it. And I'm just excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, and we all need to be hugging his neck and Rayanne's neck and just showing them the love, because what it is, and that's a great lesson for the 7th and 8th graders and the parents that are out there, the young parents, is that it is really about the journey. It's not necessarily about that destination, but it's fun to get to that destination and have it as part of the journey, because you realize the next day the journey just continues on after you've reached that destination.
Yeah.
And so for a fan of Shawnee baseball, without any kids in the game of baseball, I can't wait to get back into the stadium and watch Shawnee baseball again. And I think that there are many people out there just like that. When you bring a quality coach, what you're going to see on the field is going to be very entertaining.
It's funny because my phone has been nonstop blowing up since, a little bit ago, and I've reconnected with some of my high school teammates that I haven't talked to since our reunion, a few years ago. They're like, dude, how'd you get Shafe back? And I'm like, man, he's going to keep me on my toes. He's my coach, man. It's like, it's Coach Schaefer. And, I left a guy out that's probably just as important of all these guys as Coach Steve Fluke. Steve Fluke is the athletic director at OBU now. Coach Fluke was our assistant coach, and him and Boyer, they had camaraderie. Those three guys were attached at the hip. And I'm going to tell you, Coach Fluke, when he was the AD here, I went around the town a lot, and everyone said Coach Fluke was the best AD we ever had here. And I take that as a huge compliment, because I'm trying to not only do a great job for all of our programs, but look at Coach Fluke and Coach Boyer as guys that set a bar for me as an athletic director. So Coach Fluke was a huge part, him and his wife Lori. I shouldn't have left him out. I should have talked about him a long time ago. But the amount of guys that have reached out already, I can't wait to see. I'm not on Facebook and stuff, but I can't wait to see the social media. We just did the press release. I can't wait to see the amount of support and love that Coach Schaefer's going to receive. And, bright days ahead for Shawnee baseball and Shawnee athletics.
And that love really is an outpouring because we are so excited about the people that he is going to be able to impact, the next generation that he's going to be able to impact in your coaching staff, because you have young coaches,
right,
in the players, even around campus. Just having him back electrifies this place. And when we come back, you mentioned Steve Fluke, of course, great guy. I went to high school with Steve, great coach. And then he took over as a young man the athletic department. And what he did in the athletic department was he got through some great construction that we had needed for a long time. And now we've had some destruction. When we come back, we're going to talk about the facilities that Coach Schaefer is going to step into as we talk spring baseball here at Hardesty's, where the meat is great, but the people
even better.
Are even better. Family owned, The Branding Iron, a variety of great foods that everyone in your family is sure to enjoy. Order online or dine in. Make tonight every night at The Branding Iron. For 25 years, Eric's has served you and your family for all your prescription needs. Eric and his staff love the community and love seeing you in the store conveniently located on North Kickapoo. Make your day brighter by visiting Eric's today. Harrison Discount Pharmacy is concerned about our overall well-being. The Labyrinth on St. Gregory's Abbey grounds. If you're stressed, a walk in the Labyrinth may help you feel better. Harrison Discount Pharmacy, a good neighbor pharmacy.
For over 50 years, Fred's Tire and Battery has served Central Oklahoma with tires, batteries, and service for cars, trucks, and tractors. Friendly and affordable, with 2 locations in Shawnee. Fred's Tire and Battery, a name you can trust.
Clinic Pharmacy across from the hospital has something for you. Boutique items in Shawnee. All your pharmaceutical needs taken care of at the Clinic Pharmacy. Back at Hardesty's, something brought Jeff Schaefer here in the first place because he was a young man. He had a professional coaching career before getting here. How did Schaefer get to Shawnee in the first place?
He was the head coach at Tulsa Metro Christian, and I think it was 1991. Coach Brown, Bob Brown, loved Coach Brown. Coach Brown decided to get out of baseball and just stay in the classroom. And we had a young athletic director at the time and a great mentor to me, and probably the guy I call more than anybody for advice. Coach Mike Sperry, who was our head football coach, who had a great football program. He went out and found Jeff Schaefer. And so Coach Sperry, probably of all these people we've talked about, if it wasn't for his leadership, we probably wouldn't have Coach Schaefer here. He brought him here at 27 years old or however old he was, and we at that point we didn't have a baseball facility. Our baseball program was a lot of really good players, but we didn't have that vision. And Coach Sperry knew that this guy could get our baseball program to new heights. Now, I don't think if you put true sermon Coach Sperry, he would ever thought it turned into what it is today. And what he's done, and also with Mr. Bill Ford, who's been a huge part of our program. Him and Coach Sperry started this journey of our facilities in 1989. And from what it was then to what it looks like now, those two guys probably deserve as much credit as anybody for the success of Shawnee baseball.
That is cool. And we talk about facilities, so let's come down to the stark reality. There is still temporary fencing out there. There are light posts on the ground. There's an old scoreboard, wherever it went. Dax, what's up with the facilities and what do we have to look forward to?
Well, we have a lot to look forward to. There's been, I've learned a lot over this tornado experience with insurance and how things work. And I will give Dr. Espel 100% credit. He's amazing. He's going to do great things for this district. But him and his leadership team had a plan. We didn't just jump into things. We had to get everything, our ducks in a row. playing checkers instead of chess. That's what we've been doing. So I know outside looking in, it's kind of frustrating as a community member to go, man, that campus has been clean for 3 months. Why don't we start it? Well, there's a lot of red tape. There's OSEG, there's insurance companies. Everyone has to get on the same page. But ultimately, starting September the 5th, that build back is going straight. I mean, it's go time. And we've already started a few small projects, but September 5th, there'll be every building on campus athletically will have some type of construction going back, except for football, because that's going to be even a bigger, not a bigger story, but the way we're going to bring back football. So we're going to be playing baseball. I mean, they can practice out there right now. OG&E came down and cut the poles down. Great people at OG&E. So that was a safety issue. And so now that the poles are down, the fence is coming down, and we'll rebuild the fence. And the indoors, it's in the works. But come springtime, Shawnee baseball is going to be playing, and we're not going to be here to host those state tournaments because we're going to be in the state tournament. We'll host them, but we're not going to be here to work the field. I won't be either. I'm going to be up there on the bus.
That's right. The bus is moving, Shawnee. Great things come from disaster. This is just another evidence of that. And we want to thank you for spending some time with us. Dax is always available if you want to talk some Shawnee High School sports. This is a great place to be able to meet up with him around the noontime. Maybe Coach Madonna, Coach Destiny.
Come Thursday. Every Thursday I'm here eating chicken and dumplings. So
it's
anytime.
Good.
I'd love to sit down and talk Shawnee athletics.
Because Shawnee, as we stay together, we build community one season at a time. Thanks for being with us. Thanks, Dax.
Thank you, man. Go Wolves.
Was it that?
Go Wolves.
That's right.